Howdy y'all, it's April here from Dragons and Dresses Craftsorium, and this is my Valentine collaboration for MiniscenesGB. Now everything that you'll need to know is down in the description box. I need you to go check out everybody's playlist now to make sure that you can support everyone else too, because everything will be down below. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this white, but I got this from the Dollar Tree along with these wooden beads on this wire, but they'll come off. I paid $1.25 for it, each piece, so it was $2.50 total. I had everything else, so I didn't need it. And I'm going to be painting this white, and I'll be right back. Poof! There we go. I told you. It's all painted and dried, and it has 2 coats on it, by the way. I've already selected my rice paper that I'll be using. It's ITD collection, and I've torn out the pieces that I'm going to do, and I put it on a Lazy Susan so I can turn it and you get to all the sides of it, because you work from the center out when you decoupage, and that way I can spin it. Whee! First things first is I'm going to put some Art decoupage glue and varnish, and I'm going to coat the entire piece. And then I'm going to lay my paper on there, and I'm going to start from the center and go outward so that there's no air bubbles or ripping or tearing. And until it's dry, you can kind of move it around unless you put some on the top. Now, if you notice, I'm staying away from the edges because I'm going to be painting those later. And it doesn't have to have this on there. And I want to coat the entire surface that I'll be putting the decoupage paper on. Or the rice paper rather, excuse me. I am going to be using some decoupage, Art brands today. I have got decoupage on the brain, don't I? I should decoupage my brain. For the paints and the sealers and all that. So let me lay this down here and start going outward like that. See, if you do that, then you don't get the bubbles. But it's a little big. Hang on a minute. Let me rip some pieces off this. It's a little too big. But I'm not going to throw them away because I will use them. So I have a little stack going over here. It's great to fill in holes and gaps and all with. Because of the way the background is, it would blend very well. Oh, I'm sure you guys know how to decoupage by now. So I'm going to go ahead and re-wet this or re-moisten this board so I can, get back on there. Stop running away from me. You can't run away from me. You can't handle the truth. And then I'm going to go ahead and get this going. I'm going to leave you with some lovely music and enjoy the ride. These are the 3 colors of the decor paint that I'll be using: apricot, cardinal red, and the acrylic matte white. Just to blend them, that's the apricot. We have the cardinal red at the bottom with the white mixed in with it already, and I'm just blending different shades of pink and the apricot peachy color together. So we'll just blend all these together and use these colors here. And it's just to go around the outer edge, so it should match up pretty good. And the olive tree green might get used here in a little bit. Now that that's done and dry completely, I'm going to put a coat of the matte varnish on there, a very, very thin coat. Get it all over the whole thing, let it dry, and then I'll be back. All right, now for this one, it's a fine line crackle, and it's two-part component, and it has to be completely dry and that very thin layer of a varnish. So step one is the white one. You put it on in one direction, you cover the whole area, and you let it dry. And then you come back with step two, the opposite direction. And as it's drying, you'll see the crackles start to appear. And it's pretty cool, and then I'll be back. While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and paint my wooden beads that will go on the heart, and I'll show you where it's at in just a minute. I'm using Rose Quartz by Extreme Sheen, and I want this to look kind of shabby chicish, so to speak. So I don't want it completely covered, or else I would just dip the beads or do 2 or 3 coats. I'm just putting a little bit in the cap so that I can use it out of it. And I will be putting something on the top, and I'll use a fine soft paintbrush to paint these with. And I'll get these painted, and I will let them dry. While they're drying, I can do the second part of the other one. Get these separated out of the way. This is the easiest way to do them, is just put them on a stick. And since I didn't have a little dowel, I used to use a paintbrush. Just paint each one however you feel necessary to do it, and then I'll be back with the second step. All right, so this one, you make sure you shake everything up too, by the way, with these, or stir it however you'd like to do it. This is, there we go, fine line 2, crackle varnish. If you see those lines on there, that's the crackle that you'll get. And I'm going to go up and down, but I'm not going to do those butterflies. I'm going to do everything but the butterflies up and down. And going to go around this bottom butterfly pretty closely here, just to show you what I mean by doing around it. Of course, you probably knew what around it meant. But you want to make sure that you're going, well, they say you go in 2 different directions to get the crackle, but I've done it in all the same direction and it worked fine. Just going around the outer edge real carefully. Then I'll speed this up. No need to watch the whole thing if you can figure out how to do it. All right, that's done, and now all the pink beads are dry. Next is attaching these flat back pearls to it. As you can see here, they're going to go on the top and look like a cute little pink bonbon. Aww. And I'm going to use E6000. And I'm going to start by putting it on the pearl itself and then attaching it, but I found an easier way after I shot this piece that it's easier to just put it on the bead, and all the pearls that are upside down, you just lay it on top of there. And there you have it. Looks like a cute little piece of candy. Let me get it centered here. Right, there we go. But I did find an easier way to do this. I just put it on the bead and then tip it onto the pearls that are upside down. I'm going to get all these done, and it's going to be like magic, and it'll be done. And voila! Amazing, isn't it? It was magical. Now those are going to be glued all the way around the outer edge where that line is there between the paper and all, right in here. But you can see these cracks appearing. Well, I can see them. You may not. But once this is all done, it'll be all crackled up, and sometimes you can hear it. When it's done, I'll be back. But in the meantime, I'm going to go around the outer edge of this with some colors. I'm using rose quartz, ruby, and jadeite from Extreme Sheen. I have them on the table here. I'm just going to blend them together a little bit on my pouncer sponge, which I have ripped little holes into so that it's not just flat. It gives it a texture look. And I'll get this done around the outer edge. And when this is complete, I shall return. And now that that's completely dry, I want to show you what I mean by the cracks. Can you see all the little cracks in it right in here? All right, well, we're going to fill those cracks now. And I haven't decided yet if I want to use the antique gold, the antique copper, or the regular copper. I'm thinking it's going to be one of these two. I'm thinking the copper because it looks more the color. Nope, the antique copper. Okay, so we're going to do the antique copper. And this is Pentart Antique Paste. What you do is you have to have paper towel ready to go, which I, of course, did not. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to take some on your, you put some on your finger, or if you want to, you can use a brush, but I use my finger, and you just take it and you rub it on, and you can see the cracks starting to appear. Got to rub it in really good to get it in all those cracks. Now remember, I did not cover the butterflies, so I don't want to put any of this on the butterfly. All right, so we've got some on there. Now we're going to take our tissue and we're going to wipe it off, and it just stays in the crack. And I'm going to show you a quick way to set any wax, whether it be this one or the, or not any wax, but any of these type waxes, whether it be this brand or it could be the Prima one, which is, what is that one called? Art Alchemy. The Finnabair wax, hers works the same exact way. Okay, so what you do is you take your heat gun, or you wait 24 hours. Oh, it's cold here, so this feels good. And once you set the wax, it's set. So that is now set. And you can see how it went into the cracks. Makes it look old and antique. All right, I'm going to do that to the rest of this, and I will speed it up. All that is applied, and I have heat set it, and now I want to show you what it looks like up close. There we go. Look at all those gorgeous cracks in there. Well, as gorgeous as a crack could be, I guess, but it makes it look so antique and aged, and I just absolutely love that look. All right, we're going to get going with the next step now. Now that that's all done, and I need to get these butterflies done. So I'm going to show you the colors and tell you the colors, and it's from Fran's Glitter and More that I'll be using. And I'm just going to do just the highlighted colors on there, like the peach and the coral and the black and the green. And I'm going to use a little bitty paintbrush to do this with UV resin, and then I'm going to resin over the whole top when I'm done. But the colors that I'll be using for that butterfly are from Fran's Glitter and More, which I'm not sure these colors are available anymore. It's going to be the, let's see, that says Fran's Glitter and More.com. And this is a Hollow Rose Gold 0.15. This is kind of like a dust. There it is. And this one is Merida, which is my favorite Disney princess. Merida. And I'll be doing those on those. And this little blue streak here is in the other one too, and that's called Genie in a Bottle. Now for the purple butterfly on the bottom, I'm using the genie in a bottle because there's a little speck on there. Mad Hatter, which is a fine one, and Willy Wonka, which is the darker purple, and that'll go into those. And now for the green one, I have chosen Grinch, which is my buddy Gert's favorite color, and Mary Jane, which is a beautiful green-blue mixture. And I will get these done up, and I have to etch those butterflies first. So I need to get them ready. When I was etching these to get them ready, which I've already done them, but I'm going to show you what I found. I was just giving them the surface, something for the resin to adhere to in that little area, but I noticed that it was peeling off when I was etching it, so I started doing it on the other ones, just going in one direction, and it was rolling that varnish right off, but it was keeping the matte varnish underneath, because if you remember, I put that first layer of the crackle component on there over the whole thing, and that's what's rubbing off right now. It's just that one layer. All right, I'm going to get this done, and I'll be back with you. Wait, here you go. You can see that it's rubbing off. There you go. So I'm just going to get that off, and it leaves a little border, which is kind of like perfect for UV resin. So I'm going to go ahead and get those filled. Oh, there we go. Get those filled, and then I'll be back when it's done. Now to fill in these butterflies, I'm going to be using J. Diction UV resin hard type. It's not my favorite, but it's what I have on hand. And I'm going to put a little dot on my silicone mat here so that I can peel it off after we're done, just to mix the glitters into. When I get done putting all the glitter on, I'm going to top it with the J. Diction. There we go. You can see how pretty that is. It'll show up even better at the end. I'm going to get those beads attached and be right back. Okay, everybody, we are in the home stretch. Everything is dry, but apparently I got some glitter on here, or glitter landed. I don't know where the glitter would come from. Do you? When this was drying and cracking, glitter landed in it, and I can't get it out, and I kind of messed up the crackle by trying to get it out with alcohol. So that didn't work. So we're just going to do something different with it, because I don't want to mess with it anymore and get rid of all that crackle. So what I've got here is some of the J. Diction UV resin, the same that I put on here. Let me get my gloves on real quick, because we all know I'm allergic. If you don't know, you do now. Hey, I'm allergic to UV resin. I don't do much of any other kind of resin, but I'm going to start. I've already put my resin in here. That should be plenty. Now these are from Temu. These are the non-sinking glitters. And I am just going to put, I have a little spoon here. I have these double-ended spoons here. I'm just going to put just a teeny tiny microscopic amount in there just to kind of cover up the glitter that's on the background. And I'm using the pink and the peach since I have the pink and the peach inside there. Oh, these would have been pretty if I'd have antiqued those pearls a little bit. Oh well, live and learn. And this is the other one that is not open yet. Just a teeny tiny amount. I don't want to overdo it with the glitter. And it will help seal it in too. Then I've got all my flowers up there ready to go for the next part. Okay, now that we've got that in, let's mixy with a little bitty stirring stick here. All right, so it's a cheapo paintbrush from one of the kids' things, but hey, it makes a great stirring stick. Waste not, want not, you know. Wipe that off. Don't tell my granddaughter I used her paint brush. Okay, you can see it's not very much sparkle in there. Full of bubbles right now because I just mixed it ravenously. And I'm just going to paint it. Now what I do is I will wipe off the excess. This is an alcohol wipe. And then I'll spray it. And it helps clean it off because I have other paintbrushes that I use for everything, including a little bit of UV, and I just clean them really good with alcohol. Soak it in a little alcohol, not acetone because it will melt it if it's not real fibers. Like if it's not a real boar's bristle or real squirrel hair or what have you. Now I'll still mark this one, glitter UV. It's pretty cold here, so I'm just going to heat this up with my heat gun and get it flowing so it can level out. How that before it runs off, I'm going to go ahead and quick set it around the edges so that it doesn't run. Slowly quick set it across before I get my big light out. Tacking this off there. And now what I want to do is I want to etch it a little bit just to make it a little bit rough, even over here on the paint, because I want this hot glue to have something to adhere to, and then wipe it off with alcohol. That's from my nail tech days. I always wipe with alcohol. So now I've come across, I have all these mulberry flowers. Mulberry is a type of paper, a fabric. So what I wanted to do is I want to kind of arrange them a little bit. We'll just stick with that. All right, now first things first is I have to get these little ones glued in here. So to keep your hot glue gun from falling off, if you have anything that has, like I have a riser over here that has my monitor on it, and I keep the cord clipped to the upright piece. If you can keep it clipped to something, it won't slide off your desk. Just a little tip. All right, so as you can see, there's strings all over the place. Let me hold it up a little so you can see it. See all the glue strings? Well, eventually. All right, you see the glue strings glistening? If you take your heat gun, let it warm up a second, and you hit it with that, all those glue strings will shrink away. There you go. No more glue strings. That's a neat little tip, isn't it? All right, now let's attach this and add our string, and we are going to call this one done. And once again, I want to remind you guys to go and check out everybody else in the playlist. It'll be linked below because they did an awesome job as per usual. You know, they're pretty good at what they do. Oh, need more glue. And if you ever want to join in on one of these collabs, just check out MiniscenesGB. That's Tracy Lippett over there. She's got a couple channels. She's a busy, busy woman. We got enough glue on there for now. And we're going to pull some of these little leaves around so there's a little bit of green. You can fluff this up as much as you want. You can do whatever you want when it's your project. But that's how I'm going to leave this. I'm going to put a piece of twine here and here, and I will put pictures at the end. Thank you all for joining me today, and if you can make one person laugh or smile, then your day has been worthwhile, and I hope I've done that in some small way. Please check out the links below or that are attached right here at the end, because there's other collaborations, like I have my collaboration coming up on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, is My Bloody Valentine. For those of you who are into the gore and the blood and the guts, that's the perfect one for you to watch. If you're not into that, go ahead and give it a try. You might be, because it's pretty cool, some of the stuff that we can come up with. All right. Thank you guys, and you have a wonderful day. Bye.